Good afternoon. Welcome to Real Talk Live with Arnette D. Love. Listen, I want to thank you all for praying for me. I was a little under the weather, but I was feeling better enough to get in the office and be able to do the show. Of course, I want to welcome my assistant, my little sister, Alicia. We call her Lisa. How you doing?
I'm good, sis. And you?
I'm wonderful now. And so, today, guys, the table has been turned, and we will have this special interview of yours truly. I will be candid. I'm going to try to answer the questions as truthfully as I can. Some things might be emotional, but understand I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. I want you to first know this is not wine. I do not drink. This is some kind of mocktail. And so, yes, okay. I'll be sipping on this mocktail, and we're going to be answering questions. If you have any questions for me, feel free to write into the bottom of in the comments of the show. You can also call in if you must at 757-724-1041 while the show is still live, or you can text as well. Whatever happens, however you feel comfortable. So right now, I am going to turn this part of the show over to Lisa. And so, Lisa, here you are. Go ahead and interview me.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to congratulate my sister, Arnette D. Love, on her accomplishments. And I would just want her to know I'm very proud of her. I admired her. I admire her and what she's doing and her achievements that she's making. First female commander, American Legion. Historic moment in Portsmouth. But it went unrecognized. And I just wanted to ask the question, sis. It's a hard question, but I'm going to ask it. Why did the first female commander, veteran, and 76 years of historic American Legion post receive no recognition in her own hometown?
Okay, like you said, I am the first female commander of the William H. Harrison American Legion Post 190, located 2711 Peach Street. Your question is, why was it not recognized? Why wasn't it important enough to be recognized as an accomplishment, as a sign of progression in our city? First and foremost, let me pinpoint this. I was recognized by the mayor. The mayor called me not once but twice, and he does have something pending for the post. I was recognized by the vice mayor. I spoke with him as well. He wasn't able to attend, neither was the mayor. They were both out of town. Also, I do want to say that Councilwoman Lisa Lucas-Burt also sent her regards, and she wasn't able to attend the program because of a former engagement.
And Ms. James, I remember her reaching out to.
Yes, at the time, the city manager, Angela Jones, was scheduled to come. She wanted to be there, and then it happened that she was released or relieved of her duties, so we know how that goes. I want to say that the chief of police was invited. I want to say that every elected official was invited, probably except for the sheriff, because I did not have his personal information. But I thought I had it, but I didn't. But every elected official was invited to come, and they did not show up, which is fine because, we already know what's going on between most of us, and it's okay. That's nothing personal with me. Bygones are bygones, but that's neither here nor there. Plus, it's election year, so of course you can't let people see you supporting those who you're not endorsing because they'll think that you're, endorsing them. The people that you want to manipulate, persuade, they will think that you're endorsing them, so they'll think it's okay. But listen, it's all right with me because what God has for me is for me. There are some people that, hold on to the negativity. I personally don't. We wanted to invite everybody. It wasn't it was just an olive branch. It wasn't a case of burying any hatches or making any amends. That wasn't the case. It was just to invite you because that's the proper thing to do, and that is what we did. Not only did we invite the local elected, I purposely did not invite the preachers because I just didn't. I did invite my preacher, my uncle, Pastor Milton R. Blunt, who chose to come pretty much, let's put it this way, he didn't come in my eyes because he came so late. It just really didn't even make sense. I'm not sure why he showed up, but he is my uncle, my daddy's brother, so I appreciate the effort. Third, we invited all of the news outlets. If you said you was a news outlet, we invited you because we did not want to show any, discrimination to what you do. So we wanted to treat everybody the same. So if you called yourself a news outlet and we knew about it, you were invited to the event, okay? We received no news press. My assistant reached out to the news, Virginia Pilot, Channel 3, 13, and 10. So did my adjutant from the Post, reached out. Nobody responded. And so I say to that, I'm sorry this wasn't a negative event. I'm sorry I couldn't give you something to down our citizens on or drag people in the street about. I'm sorry that I have broken the glass ceiling of male domination in this post and you felt it not necessary or worthy of reporting. I'm sorry I'm not messy enough for your news stations, so may it be. Okay, people of Portsmouth, we have to stop welcoming negativity. We have to stop embracing bad news. We have to show them that it's not okay just to report the negative stuff that's going on in our town, or people that's talking about the negative stuff that's going on in our town. Let somebody give a commentary on something negative going on in our town and the news will pick it up. Let me be messy and start dragging different politicians in our town and dragging different business owners in our town, and I guarantee you the news people are going to want to have an interview with me. I'm not that person. I'm positive. Nobody's perfect, but I'm not going to stoop down low just to get some attention because I don't need it. You know who I am. If you don't, you will. What's going to happen? You're going to see, an increase of negative news stories because that's what they like. That's what they like.
Excuse me, on that note, how can you build the city up and build your citizens up if you continue to only relay the negative? That's why I'm like wonder how you able to still encourage others after being while you've been rejected by them, and so how are you able to still encourage and go on and be strong through this?
You're asking me how I'm able to encourage
with
others.
The rejection that you receive from the news outlet and
well, let's talk about. See, there's so many different rejections, right?
Mm-hmm.
So many different rejections that I have experienced. So let's talk about first. We talk about first the the news people, being rejected by them. It's okay because, see, I do understand. See, back when I was really into what was what in the city, I know that some of the news people are controlled by some of the leaders of the city. So I know that all it takes is a phone call to blackball you from getting a news article unless you're paying for it. You see what I'm saying? See, had it been that the new first female commander of this post slapped somebody, that would have been all over the news. Probably would have made.
Maybe you need to slap me so they can get. Come on, slap me.
I'm not with the negativity.
You know,
I don't need
maybe
it.
that'll get you covered.
But that's what it is. Had I done something negative, they would have been all over smearing my name, smearing the post. So we don't need that type of publicity anyway. So, you know, just keep it. As a matter of fact, I had so many people contacting me, asking me why was there no news press of what happened. And I couldn't answer them. So I myself reached out to the Virginia Pilot and I think the other news companies, I believe, don't quote me that. But I know for sure Virginia Pilot because all I got from them was a whole bunch of what we're talking about emails. You see, nobody ever responded to what I wrote to the Virginia Pilot as to why there was no recognition of this great accomplishment. But it's fine with me because if I have to do something negative and dirty and low down to somebody else just to get you to report on it, you can keep your report. It's not important. Okay, so how do I continue to influence others? Because man doesn't motivate me. Man doesn't move me. Man is a distraction most of the time. And so what I do is I keep strong hold to my faith. And I continue to treat others the way I want to be treated. And that is in a loving manner, respectful manner. Yes, I do get out of pocket sometimes, but that's only because I'm pushed that way. I always was taught if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And I'm not falling very much these days. So I will stand for those who cannot stand for themselves. And I'm going to love everybody regardless of how you treat me, regardless of how you feel about me. I'm going to still love you, even if I have to love you from a distance, from afar. If I have to feed you with a long-handled spoon, I'm going to still love you. And that is how I continue to uplift others. And that is how I continue to motivate others through all of the hurt that I have experienced. So that's one thing we talk about the newspaper. That was a disappointment. It wasn't a hurt because I'm not surprised when it comes to Portsmouth. They just love to report negative. And if you say that I'm lying, I'm here for an interview as the first female commander in 76 years of the William H. Harrison Post 190 on 2711 Peach Street. Me and my officers would love to have an interview with you. So prove us wrong that you just don't post about negativity or things that's evolving or revolving around negativity. Somebody done talked about something negative in the city. Now, when it comes to other her, we're going to move past this part of it because I am who I am. I'm going to do who I do, what I do, and going to be blessed continuously by the best. So hurt as far as family hurt. How do I move past the hurt far as family hurt? Well, one thing for sure, two things for certain. After the first time, you get used to it. You know, after the first time, there's no surprise. The first time is an initial shock to your body. No, I'll read it right now. It's an initial shock to your body after the first time, to your mind, to your heart, you know, that gut punch, that initial gut punch, you know. And once you get through that, you can accept it once again and again and again and again. Now, my first hurt, of course, came as a child. you know, and I'm not going to discuss that because I've already discussed it with you before. So once I got through that hurt as a child, I learned how to build walls, and I built up walls, you know. Now the good thing to build up walls, y'all, is you need to really try to work through the hurts, but as a child, I just built up walls. I blocked people out of my life. I moved on without them. So then what happened, when you have someone active in your life, they're actively depositing into your life, and they hurt you, that's another new. That's another new, you know, that was another new for me. What happened in 2020 when I ran for election at first was another new for me. I had someone that I worked side by side with, close with, respected. No matter what people said about this person, this individual, I stood up for him. No matter what he did, I stood by him. And when he decided and made a decision to not stand by for me based on the fact that he wanted to stand by outsiders, and that's exactly what they are. They're outsiders, because the same blood that runs through my grandmother's body, or that ran through my grandmother's body, ran through our bodies as well. We were family, and we weren't estranged. So he decided to side with outsiders. Outsiders because I had no money to give. I had no status to give. I couldn't make him relevant in a city that he didn't live in. So he decided to side with those folks. People that secretly talked about him, that put him down, that talked down about him, that laughed at him. Talked about, I don't want to go into too much detail, but this is what it is. They know that I'm not lying. They had rumors going all around in the street about him. Get mad, you tell his business. But I still stood by him. And so when he decided not to stand by me, that was a new stab, a new gut punch, a new type of hurt. And it took me couple of years to get to a level where it didn't bring tears to my eyes. It took that long for me to accept that. Reason why? Because I was so loyal. And you know, I felt like an idiot at times because I would stick my neck out for this individual, and then to find out that he wouldn't do the same for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to grown men, letting them know you're not going to talk about him to me. You're not going to do this, that, and the other. That's what I did. And then you turned your back on me. And what gets me about you, the citizens, do y'all not watch? Do you not pay attention to what's going on in the city? You see stuff happening right in front of your eyes, and you like put blinders on. I pray that God remove the scales from your eyes on this election. I pray that you're able to see who is manipulating you. How do you watch somebody mistreat their family member, and you turn around and listen to them tell you who to vote for? How do you do that? I could not understand that.
I would judge for myself, and especially if I know you personally. And I mean, so you're going to choose a stranger
over your family member? And in private, let me put this out, because there ain't no shame in my game. In private, other preachers was coming to me telling me, I don't understand how that happened. I don't understand who would do that. I don't understand that movement. I've been a pastor of a church for this amount of years, and these many churches I pastor, and I have never once turned on my family. I don't understand it. How are you doing? Do you think it can be reconciled? Is there anything that I can do? This is what was coming to me. These are different pastors reaching out to me, trying to help me figure out and help them figure out how this happened. Make it make sense. I saw you. You was always with him. You was his right hand. You was there for him. Why would he do that to you? I can't answer that question. Why y'all asking me? Ask your buddy. You know, and so if you seeing this type of behavior, people, why you should be questioning the motives, the intentions. I'm just saying, and I'm not talking about any candidate that don't have anything to do. I don't care if Mickey Mouse was running. If you saw someone do what happened to me in 2020, you should be questioning the intentions. You should also be questioning, why is this person that don't live in this city telling me who to vote for? Why? Why aren't you in your own city telling them who to vote for?
I agree to that.
Matter of fact, you telling me to vote Democratic, but are you Democratic?
Oh.
So these are the questions. Matter of fact, you telling me to vote, but when the last time have you voted? These are the questions that you should be asking. These are the questions you should be asking. The people that come to you saying, vote for this person, vote for this person, vote for this person. Ask questions. Ask questions. See, I'm an open book. I've already told you can contact me. If I don't know, I don't know. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. I'm going to give you a reason why. If I don't think it's proper, I'm going to tell you why it's not proper. Why I feel it's not proper. You can't get any more transparency than that. And let me tell you something. There will be no one pulling my strings or working my knobs in the back of my back. I will be listening to the people. I will be making consensus and decisions based on what I am hearing from the employees and the citizens. I'm one to believe that the parents do have a right to voice their opinion on what's going on in the school. At least I can listen to them. So, enough about that hurt. Let's see, what else kind of hurt I had? Relationships. Relationships. Man, let me tell you something. Based on, I blame it on my upbringing. At a certain point, you get old enough where you be like, you can't blame it on your childhood. You can't, blame the person for this, and this. Because when you know better, you do better. But I must say that from when I was young, in my teens and my early 20s, my decisions that I made weren't appropriate. A lot of them weren't not appropriate. And I do blame it on the fact that I did not have the proper male guidance that I needed. And my relationships, honestly, they sucked. They really did. Because I was looking for something that I had been missing in my life. And that was a protector. That was someone that made me feel safe. Someone I thought would be a provider, someone who was firm. I never respected anyone that would let me run over him, because I'm a type A woman. I'm dominant. You have to be able to put me in my place. You would never control me, but you have to be able to stand firm with me and let me know that's not getting ready to fly.
May I ask if the reason you're like that is because you had if I'm not mistaken, if I can share, a sexual attack?
No, that's later.
That wasn't okay.
That's later. I'm like that because I never had a male figure to actually teach me to be somewhat submissive or respectful to men. I didn't have that. And so I had to learn that later on in life. That, you don't disrespect them, you don't mistreat them. You're not the man. Because I always had to be in charge. I always had to make the provisions. I always had to be my mama's second hand, you know, when she's at work. I'm the one home cleaning and taking care of my sister and brother. So I was always second in charge, as you must say. I was the lieutenant. You know, I didn't have that second parent, that male figure to teach me how I'm supposed to be treated. So I'd be missing the red flags. You know, I'd be believing the crap and whatnot until I turned into a monster. You know, until I turned into a monster that couldn't be controlled for real then. And I'm not going to talk about that. It's in the book. You need to get the book. But you're a minister. It's $15. You want a book, you contact me. Oh, as a matter of fact, we will be having a book reading in August. What day? August the 20th. What time?
6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will have a book reading. The book reading will be $20. We will have some finger foods, refreshments, and we will have some books on hand that you can purchase and go home and read and enjoy it for yourself. But it'll show you what I did and what not to do. And for me, it will show you what you need to teach your kids, your girls. Because when I say I turned into a monster, picture a male, but in the female version. I couldn't love anyone. I could not love anyone. That's how much I had blocked off. That's how tight my wall was. And I might have liked you and thought you were the best person, but I could never love you. And I admitted to that. I was engaged about 2-3 times. I couldn't love him, so I decided not to take him through that misery, you know, because my mind wasn't ready. And that's what hurt would do to you. If you're not careful, if nobody runs it down to you to watch out for this and don't respond this way, instead forgive. Respond this way. Free yourself. Let yourself go so that you can love someone else. Don't get stuck. See, I had nobody there to tell me that. And I mean, I got stuck, and I got stuck for years. Stuck for years. So what's your next question?
So my next question would be, you discussing your political and business aspirations.
That's
what's next for you?
Okay, listen. I tried in 2020 to run for school board. That was the trying time. That was the time when my city was prompted to turn against me. Let me put it that way. When people tried to turn my city against me, but it didn't work, because from that election I gained 9,800 and some votes.
On your own?
On my own.
Wow.
On my own.
Wow.
3 weeks prior to the official election, and I say 3 weeks, it might have been 2 weeks, someone who tried to help me in the beginning, Mr. Danny Meeks, and I hope he don't mind me putting his name out, because I have nothing but respect for him. I don't care what people say about him. I know he's a good person at heart. And 3 weeks before the election, he arranged for me to be on Hall Battle's ballot, okay? 3 weeks before the election. And I still ended up with more votes than Paul Battle received from me. You know, so that tells me that most of my votes came from me. Okay? Of course, so we can do this again. But not only are we going to do it with the same 9,800 that voted for me, I'm reaching out to other thousands or more people to come and stand behind somebody that's declaring to represent all citizens. You will not divide my thinking. You will not divide my decision making. I know who I am. I am an African American woman, and I am a true African American woman with Nigerian heritage. See, we know where we come from. So there's no denying who I am. But it's all about your focus. It's all about the love that you have for others. It's all about the capability or the ability to forgive and move on. Not forget, but forgive and move on. My platform is as follows: to bring a vocational school here, a trade school. I don't care if we have to start in the schools, but we need something for our children to be able to do when they leave that stage. When they get that piece of paper, they need to be able to be productive citizens, whether they decide to go to college or not. And we need to put it in them. We have been cheating our children. They shouldn't have to always take an entrance exam or qualify to have be in a program, or take programs that are not accredited. Who's going to decide to take a program that doesn't have an accreditation to it? I can't get any credits for it. Why I'm taking it? Because I'm young. I'm not thinking about my future. That's why we're supposed to think about their future.
And and you also have to think about the children who are special education children that can't get past those tests and stuff like that, but they can learn a trade with the vocational school that you provide, the training, you know.
But hold on. They can learn a trade, but they're also, to be honest with you, they're going to pretty much be able to survive, because most of them now, in some cases, the parents don't get any kind of supplement for them. But for most of them, they're getting something for that child. They're building up a future where if they have to go into a home, their finances for them. I'm talking about these kids that's going to walk across that stage and have absolutely nothing when they get to the other side.
I understand.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about the ones that in a couple of years after graduation are going to have children.
Gotcha.
And they can't take care of them. They don't have any work ethics, okay? Because they struggle to get through school. You think they're going to go back to school when we should have been inputting skills and trades into them while they were in school.
I understand.
That's what I'm fighting for these kids. And let me tell you something, I'm going to fight for them, because if I get ignored at this level, I don't have a problem going to the next level. I'm going to fight for them. I got time. I'm retired, and I work a part-time job. I got time for this, because it's not fair that our children come out here, drop out of school because they're bored. You put something in their hands, it might not be so bored that they'll drop out. Give them something to do. Let them go work on that ship, welding. Let these people train these kids and prepare them to walk into their businesses once they get out of school. What are we holding them back for? We need to prepare them to be able to take care of us. I don't want you dropped out of school talking about so you going to make decisions for me. I don't want people that's not from here coming here making decisions for me. I want the citizens that grew up here, was educated here, that was raised to be able to be productive right here to make decisions for me. I came back to the home that I was educated in. I did everything I was going to do and brought myself right back here so that I can give back, and in hopes that another child or another person from here would do the same thing. No, what we do is giving our kids nothing, and they running around going somewhere else, staying with other, in other cities. We need them back here in Portsmouth, productive citizens to take care of us. And the only way we can ensure that they take care of us then is if we take care of them now. And that is to give them the skills and the trades that they need to be productive citizens. That is what I will fight for, advocate for. You have people, pay attention, citizens, or who told you that's what they wanted and they have yet to speak on it. Pay attention. This is your opportunity to make your vote count. Pay attention to who just sits there. Don't ask questions. Pay attention. Okay, so that's the first one, vocational education. The second one is more emphasis on financial literacy. Listen to me. Back in 1980 something, Microsoft came out. I had a job. Had I known about investing, I could have took a few of my coins from my job and invested in finance and Microsoft. In 2022, I would probably be a millionaire. Why we can't teach our kids about investing in school? Why we can't have more emphasis on finance? Just like with anything else that they learn in school, some gonna grasp it, some of them not. Some gonna cling to it, some of them not. But why don't we give them the opportunity? Why don't we make sure that they can really manage their bank accounts? Yeah, sometimes we don't write checks, but sometimes I still have to write a check for something. Some of them don't even know how to write a check. They can't sign their names because what we do, we took the currency out of that. So we done went back to the X. Just write your X. Come on. What are we doing to our kids? We're taking so much from them. What are we putting into them? What are we putting into them? Financial literacy. How to maintain a business. Little bit of accounting won't hurt them. Minor statements, accounting statements, to learn how to about their income and expenses, to show them the differences of, you know, if you spend this much, this is what you gotta do, and how taxes work and everything. Why can't we put more emphasis on that? Get them interested in their money, in their coins, legal money, legal coins.
That's true, because you want them to be able to give you back change when the machine goes down or the gas register is not working.
I don't know how many times that y'all know I like to eat.
Oh, let me pass me that bottle, sis.
And I eat out. I eat out at McDonald's. I don't know how many times I had to count up my change for the baby.
Thank
You got to give me $2 now and give me two 10 cents, 2 dimes. You know what I'm saying?
Because
it's not their fault.
Not telling them.
It's not their fault. It's the fault of the person that's supposed to be teaching them. And I ain't gonna blame their parents either, because the parents sent them to school to be taught.
Yes.
And when we start sliding them through and not putting emphasis on certain things, whose fault is it? Every parent can't teach. And every parent is not gonna parent like you parent. You might be that parent like my mama. My mama, I come home, there's a chalkboard with orange, purple, blue, in orange, purple, and blue. The word orange, in orange. I mean, the whole chalkboard. I used to hate coming home. I leave school. I got school at home. And let me tell you the difference. The school at home came with punishment. The school at home came with on-the-spot corrections.
Our school came with punishment. And we was getting hand powdered. I mean, things didn't change.
That won't nothing compared to what was going on at Gail's school. That little pop on the hand, I would have took any day. But that pop in the mouth, every time you said the wrong thing.
Oh, gosh.
My mother was determined that we were not going to be illiterate.
That's right.
She was a young mother, and she did what she did the way that she knew how to do it. And it worked. It worked. Okay? Not saying to do that to your child, but to put time in where you're able to help teach your child. If you see something missing in school, teach your child. And I'm going to come back to that part right there, because, see, everybody keep asking me about CRT, okay? In the schools, in the public schools. This is the thing for me. If you teach history, the way that history happened, to me, that's what we need. Just teach history the way that history happens. Class over. Go to the next class. Go to the next class. continue to teach history where it happens, because you don't want to repeat history. It's good to know your history, just like it's good to know your genealogy. It's good to know that. But I can tell you right now, and don't get mad at me, but I never had to tell my employer why George Washington cut down the apple tree. That wasn't taught in the history class either. And I'm not going to teach you now. Look it up. But I never had to put that on our application. I never had to put anything about history on an application. I never had to use anything I learned about history at my job. What I did have to do is be mindful of how I was being treated. That's what I had to do. Be mindful of my skill sets. Be mindful how I responded to certain things. That's what I had to do. Workforce ethics is what I had to be more focused on. History is definitely important, but I will not. And I done read about CRT. I know it was taught at Harvard, 3rd year law school. I just really believe that it should remain in the higher education level.
Absolutely.
In college.
That's good.
That's why I believe it should remain. That way your mind is developed enough to talk about it, to discuss it, to converse, pros and cons. However, but when it comes to high school, I think we should teach history the way that it was taught. And you can agree or not to agree, but sometimes remember we get off focus with a lot of stuff that's going through our schools, that's filtering through our schools. We're getting off focus from the fact that it's all about the education and making sure that our kids can leave that facility and be productive and provide for themselves. And it doesn't always take a 4-year college. Some kids only going to do trade. Some only need 2 years to develop what their gifts are. And we need to make sure that we're able to be there for them and help push them. And that's what I want to do for your child. And if you choose not to vote for me, I understand. But I'm telling you, with all my heart, I just want to make sure that your child is pushed like I was pushed. I want to make sure that your child have the capabilities that I didn't have. I had 2 options: college, military. With the military, and was forced into college by somebody from Norfolk. I was in Hawaii. My supervisor was from Norfolk, right over there by Norfolk State University is where his family home was. And he pushed me to go to college. I didn't have a choice. He was like, you will not sit in here and be a private for years. I'm going to make sure that you get promoted. And he pushed me to go to college. And I want to push our children in the same manner. What's your next question? Oh, I got one more. Transparency of the budget. Self-explanatory. You shouldn't be wondering what happened to the money, where the coins at, where the dollars go. You shouldn't worry about that. We should be willing to tell you. Point blank period.
That's right.
Okay. What's next?
Well, I want to get off of the subject of all this other stuff and find out who you love.
I love me.
I know you love you. We all know you love you.
I love me.
You don't have nobody you love?
Of course. Of course. I do have someone I love. I'm not in love with anybody though. And that's the difference that we have to remember. There's a difference of being in love with someone or loving someone, you know?
Okay.
I don't fall in love easily for one.
That's because you're picky. And I say it all the time.
Well, it's not really the thing of being picky
And you
because
say it all the time.
what happens is you have to make sure that someone is on the same level as you. See, I can love you for years, and you can love me for years. But when I fall in love with you, or grow in love with you, as grown folks like to say, I expect you to be growing in love with me, because then the scales are unbalanced. And then somebody gonna get hurt, and I might have to hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. And that's with my heart, you know. And so that's why I'm very careful when I start being in love with someone. Because we gotta want the same thing. And if I immediately identify that you don't want what I want, it's time to take a step back. I'll love you till you die. I don't care what you do in your life. I don't care who you with. If I love you, but I'm not in love with you. But that's the difference. Now, do I love somebody? Absolutely. I love them. You know I love them. But right now, that's it. There's nothing more, nothing less. We do nothing more, nothing less. Just support each other.
So what's next on your agenda? I'm going to let you finish out this.
What's next on my agenda?
That's my question.
What you mean? What's next on my agenda?
What's next for love?
Listen, let me tell you something.
Love.
What's next on my agenda is to secure this election. Once I secure this election, to continue to go around teaching self-acceptance. Excuse me. Thank you. COVID kind of messed that up. I had already planned 2 years ago where I was going to go to different cities, different states to talk about self-acceptance, to talk, join people in their seminars and stuff and be like a member of their seminars and network and talk about self-acceptance. See, the thing is, I learned a lot being a deputy sheriff. I learned a lot when I became plus size. I used to be a size 6, okay? I went from being a size 6 to a size 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and then I'm like, whoa.
Mine just say to be continued.
I'm just like, hold on, these pants get tight, But see, what I noticed, when I was a size 6, I wasn't everybody's cup of tea. Mm-hmm. When I was a size 6, I had someone tell me, you was 2D skinny. That's what he said. We was on a cruise. We was on the ship, and the cruise ship, and he said, you are 2D skinny. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had just been dieting. I used to diet at size 6. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I look good, body firm and all that stuff. But I wasn't his cup of tea, okay? So as I got bigger, then I had somebody tell me that he didn't like thick women. Well, bro, you short and and so what you like don't really concern me anyway. I know I'm pretty, you know what I'm saying? So it didn't bother me one way or another because I just wasn't his cup of tea. You see what I'm saying? And so I want people to understand, as long as you love you, you can accept you. As long as God loves you, why wouldn't you love you? Because if he can love me with all of my flaws, I can love me with all of my flaws. And then if there's anything that I want to change, I'll change because I want to change them. Not because somebody say I'm not good enough. And not because somebody say I don't look good. I'm going to change them because it's what I want to do. I tell people all the time that my stomach area, I really don't like. Because I like to put on tight stuff. Now this is
This 5 babies out of there.
But this is the thing. I like to wear tight stuff. So I would prefer that my stomach be flat. But it's not the fact that I don't think I'm pretty and I don't think I look good in my clothes. It's just that I want to look a little bit differently. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get back to the gym because I pay for gym memberships, 2 of them, every month. So it's my fault. I need to get back in the gym and work on my stomach. Now push comes to shove, and then the Mother Nature says it's not gonna happen. I'm gonna head on and find me somebody that can suck it on out. I don't recommend it for everybody. I'm just talking about me now. But it's not because somebody told me I need to do it. It's something that I would prefer that I want to do. And so acceptance is key. Because when you don't accept yourself, that leads to depression. That leads to people being able to talk you into a depression.
That's something I'm still dealing with years later. And I look at my sister, and she always motivate, and say, you have to love yourself. And that's something I'm still learning to, or trying to learn to do, is love myself. And I'm getting better at it.
And she lucky, y'all. She get that for free. She get it for free.
I take it.
But I'm just, so I want to teach people. I'm not a therapist, and I don't want you to keep coming back to me giving me your money. I want to teach you how to self-validate. I want to teach you how to ignore what people are saying about you negatively. I want to teach you how to block negativity out. I want to teach all that. And that's what my future is going to be. And that's it. Empowering. Writing another book. I've already started part 2 of But You a Minister. People wanted more in-depthness in my book. It wasn't to be more in-depthness, but I'm going to start on part 2 and see how it, well, I started, but I'm going to continue it and see how it goes. But the thing is, my purpose from now on is to help people reach their full potential. I don't have to be a millionaire to help you become a millionaire. All I got to do is keep pushing you, keep pressing you to use your gift. Keep encouraging you, help you sometimes show you how to do certain things. That's it. I don't have to be a millionaire to help you become one. And that is what I have next, just to keep doing what I'm doing.
Keep on doing what you're doing, sis. I love you.
I love you back. Is that the end of the interview?
That's going to be the end, baby.
Listen, I want to thank you guys for joining. I do appreciate your time. Y'all want to know something, go call the news people and ask them why they haven't wrote about the first female commander of William H. Harrison, Post 190, American Legion. Listen, because we do more over there than have those fundraiser dances. That's to help us work in the community. We give out school supplies. We give out scholarships to the grandchildren and children of veterans. We do Easter baskets. We do Thanksgiving and Christmas baskets. We're back to celebrating our shipyard workers. We do a lot of stuff in the community. We honor our law enforcement, our fire department, our sheriff department, our EMTs, with our law and order ceremonies, and we give them plaques, just to recognize the good things that they do.
Positive.
Okay?
Yes. We
bring back the families of our deceased legionnaires with our ceremony and present them with certain things to let them know that they're still a part of us and we're still here for them. We do so much in the community. We have cookouts for the community. And so just because you don't participate doesn't mean we're not over here working. And I have the team of officers that I have are outstanding, and then the members just join in with us to make things happen. So ask them why this is not important. Ask them why, because we're not running around here begging for money, because we're not running around here talking about the bad stuff. We do stuff already to deter negativity, to uplift our kids. We send our boys to Boys State so they can learn how to operate business and stuff. And from Boys State, they get the scholarships and stuff like that. See, stuff that nobody inquire about. We're over here doing at the American Legion. We are an important part of this society, of this community, and we're just going to be a little bit more visual now, so that maybe one day something we do will be newsworthy. Listen, thank you so much for joining Real Talk Live with Arnette D. Love, along with my assistant Lisa. And we shall see you next week at the 2 o'clock hour or the 2-ish hour. God loves you. I love you. Make sure you love yourself. Go on and love someone else.